Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. Welcome to a new episode of today's Best Stock Picks. It is Thursday morning, July, August 6, 2020. And biggest thing we're going to talk about today is something I'm going to go off a little bit of what I normally do. There's a lot of earnings stuff going on, and I think it's going to be tradable today. And the reason I'm bringing it up is I think the market has not quite reached what I would call a saturation play, because we're not really getting those energy type bullish days where you're opening here and closing all the way up here. We gapped 3 out of the last 4 days, but not exactly, gosh, let's get in there and do it. It's actually been quite frustrating trading the indices from a day trading perspective, because the volume has just been very inconsistent. The price action has been very inconsistent. The one thing that's been super reliable, though, is the main indicator that we use to read the tape, which is the opening price. And it's literally come in like a brick wall every time that the market goes down, hits it and bounces. The problem, though, in the indices themselves are the fact that the volume just keeps dropping off a cliff as we continue to go higher and higher, which Brian in our community yesterday, 2 days ago, said, I don't understand that. And I said, yeah, nobody does. And that's really the reality of it. You want to see as prices advance, you want to see volume going up with that. You want to see some juice behind it. You want to see some smart money saying, yeah, let's get in. We're going to be loading up on this. And what we're actually seeing is bullish days, bullish weeks, but with really not a lot of conviction. So you're kind of battling. I don't understand why we keep going higher on light volume versus we are going higher. And that's all that matters. So you have to really pay attention to what is happening, not what you expect. I'm going to tell you what I'm expecting going into today, again, which is Thursday. I think we're going to get a sideways type price action today. I think a lot of the stocks that have been exploding have reached a point where now you need to let them consolidate for a few days. So I think that's going to end up happening unless we have the stimulus package talk again about getting past, not getting past. That has to be in the back of your mind. Not necessarily to trade fearful, but to just know if the market all of a sudden explodes or implodes. You need to be on top of your game, and you need to have your stock watch up in the corner where you're actually watching the market. A lot of people only trade their stocks. I think that's a little incomplete. I think you do need to have the markets up on your screen during the day. So we're going to take a look at what I talked about there at the SPY. Again, just heading into the day, this has the potential to be a choppy back and forth day because there's a lot going on with profit taking in strong stocks, bad earnings guidance dragging some stocks down. We're going to talk about ROKU and FSLY as the top stocks for the day to pay attention to for some intraday volatility, not necessarily setting up a swing trade because of the lower opening in those stocks. ROKU has been a mess. I've been saying it's been a mess for a while. It traded higher and then got crushed after hours. First it went higher after earnings, and then now it's getting hit hard. I didn't like the stock prior to earnings. I'm certainly not going to be looking to buy it after the guidance wasn't good. So let's hop over to the charts, look at some ideas. If you find these videos helpful, definitely click down and subscribe. You'll get updates and education every day. That would mean the world to me. So let's go over to the chart. So this is basically what I'm talking about in the SPY. As we keep going higher, and actually let's go out to the weekly chart because it makes it kind of interesting. We basically now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row of buying, but look at this indecision. This is where we're not seeing these kind of candles. We're not seeing this. We're seeing this. And even though these are clearly green candles, they've been anything but get in there and buy because it's so easy to do. We don't have that conviction in the market itself right now. And then when you drill down a little bit deeper, you can see here that the volume is decreasing as each successive day goes up. And actually, yesterday's number is actually even a little deceiving because the volume was just putrid into 3:30. And then you get these end-of-day market on close orders that make it look like it was a little busier. And yes, that's a part of the total. But it was just a really, really light volume day yesterday again. But we can't ignore these gaps. 1 gap, 2 gap, 3 gaps. In 4 days, the market is going higher. So there's no reason to be frustrated. Certainly not a reason to sell short other than selling to get out of a long scenario. So that's our lineup for the market right now. We're expecting, and you can see the futures are actually a little bit negative right now, which is honestly not that big of a deal. But there is news. So the news is, are we passing the stimulus package? How is that going to affect the market? What will happen to the market if they don't, if anything? And then we're going to take a look at some of these earnings. So we're going to start out with ROKU as a trade today. I did not like ROKU at all. You can see it's actually down. And again, if you watch this morning's video about swing trading and bar by bar analysis, this is basically 3 weeks of indecision. There's no reason to trade in here. We were looking for it above 158. It finally got above 158, but then you zoom out on the chart and it just can't get through this level. So we're talking about, again, maybe you got a little short of a trade between 158 and what was the number, 168. So you got a good trade there for a couple of days, but nothing until we clear that level. That's something we talk about over and over again. The stock gets up to a level that it can't get through. Let it prove it's going to stay there. ROKU didn't. And I'll give you another example of that in Penn, which is a stock that I trade on a daily basis when it's in play, when it's obvious. So this stock got crushed today. I'm going to go off the rails a little bit here today. And because I didn't like the stock prior to earnings, it's going to be interesting to see, because the 158 was the breakout. And now we just punched down to 159 area. Do we hold the 158, or does additional selling come in and push the stock lower? We'll see. It might be a day trade in there, but nothing longer than a day trade. Another one that had the earnings that are absolutely destroying the stock right now, which we actually called that in this stock. I would day trade it if it met certain criteria. It would not be swing trading it because of how far, how fast. And now the stock is down 16%, more than 16%. So again, I'm not looking to buy this stock because it had its run, and now we're going to look for a better setup. We need to see it pause, indecision, maybe even go well bid on the daily chart before we look at it. But the fact that it's in play, the fact that it's going to have a lot of attention today, there might be a day trade or two in there that lines up for some quick cash flow. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. We got some earnings today. Before the market opens, they're scheduled are BMY, Bristol Myers. After hours, we have DDOG, T-Mobile, and Uber. So that'll be interesting. Uber has not really traded that well after earnings. Maybe this will change. I don't know. I doubt it. Nobody's going out who's using an Uber right now, right? I don't know. So Disney is another one. Disney had a very big move yesterday, which is a monster move for 8%, excuse me, 8%. But the problem now is, where is the upside in this trade? This is kind of exactly what I was talking about yesterday and this morning, where a lot of traders write to me emails. They post in the community. They post, my timing is off. I'm making great trades, but I'm losing money. Well, you have to put the odds together. What are the odds of follow through if you buy today? Where is it going? How much profit potential is it? How much has the stock already moved? Well, an 8.8% move in Disney's a big move, and it's heading into resistance. So getting long this stock into resistance after it's had a giant move, you're probably going to be, at best case scenario, see the stock trade sideways. Worst case scenario, you see a little profit taking and fill in the gap. But the upside, you can see clearly here, you're going to be taking a trade where you're going to make $2 to lose $2. That's not worth it. It's not worth it. So just keep an eye on that. That's a big part of trading. We do have a few other stocks that punch through. Square is one. We did see some profit taking in Square, and it's actually going to open lower. If we can get this anywhere around this 140 level, I'd definitely be looking to initiate a new trade. That doesn't mean I'd be shorting it down there, but I want to let it pull back a little bit. Same thing with Etsy. Excuse me, I'm having problems typing today. Same thing with Etsy. Etsy actually opened higher and pushing higher again today. This is a stock we've been talking about where it's a similar situation where it's absolutely a long. It's not a long today. You buy today, what do you think of the odds of that being higher 3 days from now? Wait for 3 days from now and get a better spot where the profit potential punches through, where you have a pause where you can manage risk a little bit better. But again, it meets the scenario where it's absolutely long. I'll day trade it if it makes certain criteria, but I am not looking to initiate a swing trade long. And again, that's the chart that we said that about yesterday. And not only did it have a reversal, it's getting crushed this morning. It's down $20. One that's set up pretty well, that looks very similar to the trade of the week, is FSLY. I'm not trading this stock, but I actually love the pattern. It actually had a really strong few weeks, pulled back, exploded again. Now we're basically looking for this again, where if it pauses for a couple of days and then takes off again, which, by the way, we get a lot of people writing in, I don't have a big account, I can't trade expensive stocks. FSLY is a $20 stock. Run is now a $46 stock, but you can see almost an identical pattern. We printed money in this trade this week. A lot of people in the community traded this. We called this out last week. This is the kind of stuff, and the reason you want to be in the community is finding easy trades that just continue to follow through. And if you watch the video we did this morning, the problem that most traders have is they don't recognize easy money, smart money, good ideas, choppy ideas, and they trade the choppy ideas, and they ultimately say to themselves, I can't trade. They doubt their ability, and they say, this strategy doesn't work, trading doesn't work, when it's really you not recognizing a good idea versus a bad one. So let's dig a little deeper and start only trading those good ones. OSTK, again, the stock has been in our list for a while. Hopefully you've been trading with us. I mean, look, it was $28 last month, just last month. So again, not necessarily trading expensive stocks. The stock has exploded now, a little bit more expensive, probably going to end up making a run at 100 over the next 3 to 5 days, and we'll see what happens there. But again, you can see the stock pushes and pauses, pushes and pauses. Probably going to end up getting a pause today. We'll see. ENPH, hopefully everybody took advantage of this one the last 2 days as well. And even ironically, yesterday we actually called out, look for the stock to hit this resistance, pause, open lower, find a spot on the lower opening to bid, and that's exactly what it did yesterday. And how do we know that? Because we traded the stock aggressively here, and it kind of did that repeatedly. And you can see here it opened lower and pushed, here it opened lower and pushed, here it opened lower and pushed. It's an easier strategy to trade. Here is open lower. The stock is tradable. So again, I've been asked which stocks to trade. This stock is tradable, but you have to be in it at the right time. We just talked about Run. SE is another one that's been in the list. Again, this matches the criteria of absolutely love the stock long. I will not be looking to buy this stock on a higher opening. I will day trade it if it meets certain criteria. Somebody called out MasterCard yesterday, and just a phenomenal trade. Finally broke through its resistance level. Congratulations to everybody who got in. Now we're actually clear through some levels, and it actually looks like 350 is the next target. So that will be one that we're going to be looking to initiate a swing trade. TAL keeps coming up in the list. One, again, if you watch that video we did this morning, I don't like all these melted candles for day trading this stock. There's a lot of indecision from one day to the next, but clearly the order flow is bullish. Clearly we broke out here and obviously has room to go. So TAL is on the list for a new swing trade. And last but not least, we're going to actually end up with LULU, where this stock can really be a little frustrating, or it can be heaven. You get weeks like this where it's easier to make money and it's obvious, and then you go into these boxes where the stock is super choppy. Now, again, this was earnings, and then you had the announcement of the buyout with the company Mirror, and now we finally got above this level. We had this breakout. If you've been in the channel or in the community, really no reason to get out of it. We said if it closes back below that level, we'd be pulling the trigger to get out, and it really didn't. It traded below, it came back, and now if you're still in the position, you're still in good shape. Obviously going to open up a little bit higher this morning. So we're looking for follow through here. This is because the stock tends to have a lot of obvious trades and indecision. I'm working this order a little bit more than just jumping in there, because you have to pay attention to the price action. If the price action is not smooth from one day to the next, it's not smooth from 1 week to the next. But if the order flow is obvious, you could still trade it, but you just have to work the order a little bit. So those are today's opportunities. I think we're going to have a little bit of a day of indecision. If you happen to be day trading, be aware of that. If you start to see where we can't pick a side around the opening price, if you start to see one green candle followed by a red candle, you start to see whippy type price action, save your money. Preserve your precious capital if you're day trading. If we get a choppy day, maybe take a look at some of these stocks that have earnings, because there's attention on them, and attention creates price movement, right? And those might be the easier cash flow trades for today and tomorrow, unless the stimulus package does get passed or does not get passed, and it's an announcement about that, then we'll have some different kind of volatility. So I'm actually looking for a little bit of choppiness today. I think we're going to get a little bit of a pullback. There are definitely opportunities, but you really got to watch your watch list today and only trade the best ideas. Today's not a day I think where we're going to have the market lifts all boats. I'd be a little surprised if we get that, especially heading up on that lighter volume type price action. So have a great day, everybody. Leave a comment if you have a question. If you've actually had some good trades from our calls, definitely let me know. I'd love to hear the feedback. And if you want to trade with me in real time for the next 30 days, click down and learn about the bootcamp. Thank you.